The key is love, a journey back home to yourself. Regardless of what you've been through, no matter the heartbreak, the betrayal, the trauma, or the years spent feeling unseen and unheard, the key is always love. It's always been love. Not just love from others, but the kind of deep, sacred, unconditional love that can only come from within. You may have spent years searching for it, desperately trying to unlock it through the validations of others, hoping to feel worthy if someone chose you, admired you, stayed loyal, said the right things, showed up how you needed. You may have convinced yourself that your worth existed somewhere out there in being attractive enough, successful enough, interesting enough, wanted enough. But the true betrayal wasn't them not showing up for you. It wasn't them lying or leaving or taking you for granted. The true betrayal was you betraying yourself. No matter what you've been through, the key to healing is love. But before you can truly unlock that love, you must confront the deepest betrayal of all. The betrayal of yourself. It's not always about what others did to you. Often the pain runs the deepest comes from the moments you turn your back on yourself, doubting your worth, silencing your voice, seeking love where it wasn't given freely, or settling for less because you thought that was all you deserved. You betrayed your own trust by believing you weren't enough. You betrayed your own trust by believing you weren't enough. You abandoned your truth to be accepted. You ignored your intuition because fear told you it wasn't safe to trust your gut. And although none of this is your fault, it still became your burden. These patterns didn't start with you. They begin in childhood. You were conditioned to prioritize others' feelings, needs, and expectations above your own. You were told explicitly or subtly that your emotions were too much, your dreams too unrealistic, your presence too loud, or too invisible. And you learn to cope. You begin to become a version of yourself that could survive. And in that survival, you forgot love. The first betrayal is internal. You betrayed your own trust every time you abandoned yourself for the comfort or approval of someone else. You betrayed yourself when you accepted less than what you knew you deserved. You betrayed yourself when you silenced your voice, suppressed your truth, and lived a version of you shaped entirely by the survival, not love. And although that may sound harsh, it isn't your fault. You were raised in environments that didn't teach you how to trust yourself. You were surrounded by people who made you question your emotions, your intuition, and your worth. You were told either directly or indirectly that your value was tied to how well you could perform, please, or prove yourself. So unconsciously, even today, you kept betraying yourself. You overthink. You assume the worst. You self-sabotage. You chase things that don't fill you and tolerate things that hurt you. You lived most of your life in fear, afraid of rejection, of failure, of not being enough. This belief, often rooted in trauma, is the first betrayal, and over time, the world reflects this inner narrative. People mirror the pain we carry within. The abandonment you feel now might echo the emotional neglect you experienced as a child. The betrayal from others might reflect the quiet self-abandonment you've normalized. But it's not the world that needs to change first. It's not about people finally treating you right. It's about you coming back to yourself. It's about you coming back to yourself. Forgiveness, the first step to love. If you're going to tap into real divine love again, the first door you must walk through is forgiveness. And I don't mean the kind of forgiveness that the world preaches, the kind that demands you reconnect with your abuser or pretend nothing ever happened. No, I'm talking about true energetic release. I'm talking about the kind of forgiveness that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you. You cannot feel love while holding on to resentment. You cannot feel peace while holding on to rage. You cannot feel softness while carrying sadness and shame like an armor. You've been carrying this weight because you were never taught how to feel your emotions. You were never told it was okay to cry. You were never taught that being vulnerable is a strength. You believed that to survive, you had to stay hard, stay silent, stay guarded. And so you carry this pain that doesn't even belong to you anymore. You carry the rage of your childhood, the grief of being misunderstood, the sorrow of heartbreaks you never truly processed. You carry it because you were taught to. But holding on to pain does not make you strong, it makes you numb. Forgiveness is not about excusing behavior. It's not about inviting people back into your life who cause you pain. Forgiveness is about choosing peace over bitterness. It's about no longer allowing your past to control your present. Most importantly, forgiveness begins with yourself. You have to forgive yourself for the times you didn't know better, for the times you stayed too long, for the times you abandoned your boundaries to feel love. You have to forgive yourself for trusting people who weren't safe, for ignoring red flags, and for being human. Because that's what you were. Human. The world rarely teaches us how to truly feel our emotions. Vulnerability is treated like weakness. Crying is seen as dramatic. Expressing our needs get labeled as too much. So we suppress everything. The rage, the sadness, the fear. We carry emotional weight like it's our cross to bear, never realizing it's okay to put it down. But healing can only happen when you let yourself feel all of it. What forgiveness really means. To truly forgive, you must feel it all. You must sit in the discomfort. You must cry the tears you've held back for years. You must scream if you need to. You must allow your body to finally release what has stored and protected for so long. Then you let it go. Not because they deserve it, not because you're trying to rekindle anything, not because they apologize, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness is how you return to yourself. Forgiveness is how you say, I am no longer carrying what hurt me. I am not going to build my identity on this pain. Forgiveness isn't possible when your emotions are buried. You cannot release what you haven't acknowledged. To forgive, you must feel. Let the tears fall, let the grief breathe, let the rage roar. You're not weak for feeling, you're wise for making space to feel. That is where freedom begins. When you forgive, you're not saying what happened was okay. You're saying I will no longer carry this pain in my heart. Letting go of old timelines and pain. When you hold on to old stories, timelines, or wounds, you begin to question love itself. You start believing it doesn't exist. You wonder how loving God could allow you to suffer so much. You look in a mirror and feel guilt, shame, and confusion. And eventually you begin to identify with your pain. You start to believe it defines you. You become addicted to survival mode. You normalize suffering. And the worst part, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You are not your trauma. You are not what they did to you. You are not your pain. The version of you that's angry, lost, bitter, shut down, that's not the real you. That's the survival identity, a version of you that was created in response to pain, not love. But love is still inside of you. Love never left. It just got covered in layers of fear, shame, anger, and grief. Underneath it all, the child in you still remembers love. The child in you once loved without judgment. You smiled at strangers. You trusted easily. You played freely. That version of you still exists. You were born with love. When you were born, all you knew was love. You didn't judge, you didn't hate, you didn't question your worth, you just were. You smiled freely, you trusted, you connected, you were pure, radiant love in its most form. But then, the pain. You smiled freely, you trusted, you connected, you were pure, radiant love in its most raw form. But then came the pain, the trauma, the miseducation, the emotional neglect, the lies. And as the layers of pain added up, you forgot. You forgot love, you forgot trust, you forgot yourself. But let me remind you, love never left you. It was just buried beneath everything you were told you had to be in order to survive. The journey back to love is the journey back to home, the truth of who you are. And it all begins with one decision, forgiveness. Forgive yourself for all the times you stayed too long. Forgive yourself for the things you tolerated. Forgive yourself for not knowing better. Forgive yourself for abandoning your truth. And forgive others. Not to make them right, but to set yourself free. This journey won't be easy. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. Your nervous system has been wired to expect pain and not safety. That's why you must start practicing safely within yourself. The more you release the stories of pain, the more you remember who you were before the world taught you to shrink. And that's when love begins to bloom again. Here's what the process looks like. Feel your feelings without shame. Forgive yourself with compassion. Let go of timelines, identity, and expectations rooted in trauma. Practice nervous system regulation. Build safety in your body through prayer, journaling, meditation, and therapy. Follow content that aligns with your healing. Speak to yourself with love, not criticism. Honor your inner child. This is how you make room for love. You are not your pain. You are not your trauma. You are not your betrayal. You are not broken. You are remembering. And in that remembering, love reawakens. The more you release the stories of pain, the more you remember who you were before the world taught you to shrink. And that's when love begins to bloom again. Here's what the process may feel like. Feeling your feelings without shame. Forgive yourself with compassion. Let go of timelines, identities, and expectation rooted in trauma. Practice nervous system regulation. Build safety in your body through prayer, journaling, meditation, and therapy. Follow content that aligns with your healing. Speak to yourself with love, not criticism. Honor your inner child. Read spiritual texts or scripture that ground you in your truth. Go to therapy or start regulating your nervous system through breath work and somatic healing. Follow people who reflect the love and peace you're cultivating. Journal daily. Meditate, talk to yourself with love, acknowledge and process your emotions, listen to your intuitions, and trust your body. These aren't just healing tools, they're acts of love. They're how you start to rebuild safety inside yourself. They're how you teach your body and your soul that love is safe again. This is how you make room for love. You're not your pain, you're not your trauma, you're not your betrayal, you're not broken. You are remembering, and in that remembering, love reawakens. Love is still possible after it all. So love is still possible after betrayal? Yes, absolutely. But it's not something anyone can give to you. You have to choose it. You have to reclaim it. You have to decide that you are worthy of love, not because someone says so, but because it is your birthright, because you were born from it. And no matter how far you feel from it, you can always return to it. Love isn't gone, it's just been buried, and you are the one with the shovel. You must choose love again and again and again. You must choose it when your mind tells you you're unworthy. You must choose it when your heart wants to shut down. You must choose it when fear tries to talk you out of it. Love isn't material, it isn't performance-based, it isn't external. Love is internal, it is spiritual, it is sacred, and once you decide to believe in it again, everything shifts. You were born of love, you were created in love, you always have been loved. So choose it, forgive, return, and this time, don't abandon yourself in the process. You were born of love, you were created in love, you always have been loved. So choose it, forgive, return, and this time, don't abandon yourself in the process. Return to the love within. This world teaches us that love is found in things, in money, and image, and attention, and relationships. But real love is internal, it's spiritual, it's soul deep. It's knowing yourself, it's trusting yourself, it's choosing yourself. Once you do that, once you build a home within you, the world begins to mirror that. The people who show up reflect that. The opportunities that come reflect that. Because love begins with you. So come back home to the person you were before the world told you who to be. Come back to your heart, come back to your soul, come back to love. I believe in you. And more importantly, you are worthy of love simply because you exist. Welcome home.